Alright then, here we go. Let's decide some champions, shall we? And let's decide who gets a ticket. It's time for the finals in all 4 categories. And we start with Minimax and Minimax Rookie. It's been a tremendous weekend. The weather has gotten even better than it was earlier on. I can't wait to get Minimax and Minimax Rookie underway. Let's decide a champion. Starting grid for this race then. I have it right in front of me this time. Mick Klinkers, of course, won the last race. And that awards him pole position for the final as well. Leon Herbots in second place ahead of Laurens van Vlaanderen. And Trent van Meelik on the second row of the grid. Third row of the grid is Sasha Al-Jabrail. In sixth and also third row on the grid is Matthias Verreke. Fourth row on the grid, Julian Jansen and Miele de Kousmaker. Fifth row of the grid, Daan Hillen and Dejan Habets. Sixth row of the grid is Noah Steehouder and Jesse Mone. Jesse Mone, who had to retire before it even began last time around. Had an incredible result before. But sadly, that was short-lived when she had to retire before the pre-final even started. Let's hope that this time around they can actually take the start. So here's the 1-4-3. That is Daan Hillen. He's being kept stationary. Gonna have to start from pits. Here we go then. Lining up. Checking who is and who isn't in the right position. Here we go. Oh, boys, keep it up. The marshal will be happy. No, the marshal didn't have to say anything. There you go. There it was. The moment we all were waiting for. Leon Herbots leading the way. Ahead of Matthias Verreke. We look to the 5 red lights. When they're out, we're underway and racing. They are out. We are underway and racing. We're 3 wide in the turn 1. The 104, the 198, and the 118. 3 wide in the turn 1. We figure it out eventually. And we figure it out in the order of the 104, the 198, and the 118 having to slot in behind the 170. 170 of Laurens van Vlaanderen. But once again we're 3 wide coming out of turn 6 onto the Europa Laan. 10 minutes plus 1 lap again. Just like it was last time around. And also back then it was amazing racing. Coming through to complete the first tour of the race. Right. With that result, It's almost certain that Leon Herbots is going to get the ticket here, the Grand Finals ticket. So all he has to do is finish this race, and he will. With that result for Yesimone, unable to even compete in the last race because of technical failure. That has opened up the opportunity for Leon Herbots. Back to the battle in the race then. As looking to the inside is the 113 of Dejan Habets. Shoots wide though, and there we go. Cut back made by Leon Herbots. Smart racing. The 131 Dejan Habets at the start in P10 and he's up at the P2 already. We've seen some amazing comeback drives here today. It's been a day of comebacks. And up the inside goes Dejan Habets. Six minutes remaining plus one lap. Not the fastest lap of the race for Mick Klinkers, who is increasing the gap out in front. Gap now up to 0.6 of a second to Dejan Habets. Dejan Habets had that hard crash in the pre-qualifying. It's good to see that he is okay. Well, as okay as he can be. Looked a little worse for wear when he got out of his kart. But judging by the body language of that kart, he's all over that. And he's looking to do one thing and one thing only, and that's come back with a mega result and come back with a win. Big Klinkers. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to hang on to P1. And Mick Klinkers just catapulted himself up the order. Mick Klinkers was 12th before the pre-final in the championship. He's 4th. He's 4th going into this race, into the final. And with this result, he could catapult himself even further up the order. Sad that the first weekend wasn't quite one that he was hoping for. Dejan Habets is slowly but surely crawling closer to Mick Klinkers as well. Fastest lap of the race last time round by Dejan Habets, 59.223. 2.5 tenths quicker, or 1.5 tenths quicker than Mick Klinkers at the front. Gap down to only 4 tenths of a second. We might see a fight yet here for the win in this race. It looked like for quite a bit that Mick Klinkers was just going to run away with it. But anything but that has been the case. Here we go then. He's officially on his back bumper. Dejan Habets. Mick Klinkers. One and a half minutes plus 1 lap to go. Let's say 2 more laps after this one. We'll see if that is true. Into Cafe they come. Last race it was close with the time. I think the same will be the case this time round. But I have a feeling once again we're going to run 3 laps here. Yes, he's done it. 3 laps to go. Gap still 3 tenths of a second. They'll enter the second to last lap this time round. There it is. Second to last lap for the 2 at the front. Mick Klinkers and Dejan Habets. Up 8 positions, Dejan. Can he complete the comeback from 10th on the grid to P1? Or will it be Mick Klinkers' 3rd win of the weekend? Won the heat, won the pre-final. And if he keeps driving like he's on the verge of winning the final as well. Last lap of the race. Can Dejan Habets try something into turn 1? Something audacious. No, he goes deep though. He goes deep. There goes Mick Klinkers. That's allowed Dejan Habets to get closer. That's exactly the run he needed. Will he try something? Into turn 5. No. Into turn 6. Yes, the outside is the line of choice. Parks it on the apex. We'll look to defend the inside for turn 7. Look at the exit though for Dejan Habets. Will he get it? In the background though, there's also someone who's driven a very important race in this final, securing the grand final ticket later on, Leon Herbots. This is the battle though for the win in the final. Coming down to the last corner of the last lap. It's a better exit by Dejan Habets. It's going to be a drag race to the line, but it's going to be Mick Klinkers who wins the race. And behind that, it's going to be Leon Herbots who secures himself a grand final ticket with yet another consistent finish, top 3. Grand finals in the bag for Leon Herbots. Mick Klinkers wins yet another race. It was 29 thousandths of a second at the end of the race between Mick Klinkers and Dejan Habets. Leon Herbots going to the grand finals later on this year in P3. Laurens van Vlaanderen in P4, ahead of Tren van Meelik in 5th. 6th is Matthias Verreken. And 7th is Sasha Al-Jabrial. Jesse Mone in 8th, Mila de Kausmaker in 9th, Julian Jansen in 10th, Daan Hillen in 11th, and Noah Steehouder not able to start the race. We saw him earlier on in the 112. He was not allowed to start. What a race that was then. Mick Klinkers wins 3 races on the bounce and wins the final. Dejan Habets came from 10th, finishes in 2nd, 29 thousandths behind Mick Klinkers. And Leon Herbots finishes in 3rd and secures a grand final ticket. Alright then, it's time for the juniors. The juniors championship. Oh boy, is it ever close. It's Vince van der Halen who's leading the championship ahead of Max Sadurski. But Vince van der Halen is also leading the race for a grand finals ticket ahead of Lars Lambers. And that's a 10-point swing that he needs. With both having a lowest score of 48 with one drop round. It could well be the case that, well, let's be honest, if Vince van der Halen finishes ahead of Lars Lambers, Vince van der Halen gets the ticket. Simple as that. The other way around, some math are going to have to be applied. And well, if I've learned one thing in my short career as a commentator, you should never trust the commentator on his math. It's just not a smart thing to do. Let's go to the grid then for this race for the juniors. It is Max Sadurski after a mega comeback in the pre-final, starting from absolutely plumb last, coming back to P1, starting on pole position. Lars Lambers in second, ahead of Vince van der Halen in third, Bram van der Wekke in fourth, and Boris Verhagen in fifth. Lieke van Boekel in sixth, Justin Vonk in seventh, and Niklas Machon in P8. Fifth row of the grid, Jente Mone and Liam Hauk. Sixth row of the grid, Koen Willems and Devre Miette. And seventh row of the grid, Lionel Mingwe and Vic van Kampenhout. Drivers still trying to get heat into their tires. Meanwhile, I'll try and calm my throat down a little with some water. It's been a lot of mega action here this weekend. No moment for a commentator to chill. But that's amazing for you viewers at home, luckily. Well, here we go then for the juniors. We're looking at the 5 red lights. Can we do it at the first time of asking? The answer is yes, we can. Great start, clean start from all of them. The inside from Max Sadurski will prove powerful, shooting all the way around the outside and off the track. Goes the 242. That is Lars Lambers. If there was any small chance of him fighting for the grand finals ticket, well, it's gone. And it is also the case for Vince van der Halen. Now it becomes a race for Bram van der Wekke. The ironic clap from Vince van der Halen says it all. Shooting round the outside there for Lars Lambers. I'd like to see a replay of that later, but my oh my. Feisty racing at the front. Now it's the 296 that we'll focus on. If he can win this race, he might well shoot himself to the grand finals. Bram van der Wekke, though, also down 3 positions. Well, this has not gone the way that I expected this race to go. Max Sadurski, though, looks the strong favorite to take home the win in the juniors. Second gap already, 1.5 seconds. The gap is almost up to. And that is after the first lap of the race. First 1.5 laps. Of course, lots went on behind him. Bram van der Wekke, that's the driver they'll both be looking at. And oh boy, I don't know if we can catch a shot of that, but Vince van der Halen, with his head in his hands at Marshall post number 3. Having to watch from the sidelines, knowing that your grand final ticket is at stake and you can't do anything about it yourself. Here's the move coming though. Up the inside, will he make it stick? Yes, there you go. Mega Sand made it stick. Clean move. Well done. See that coming with the body language of his card. Max Sadurski, 1.5 seconds up the road from all of them. The battle behind him, fierce as ever, between Jente Mona and Boris Verhagen. A black flag for the 242. Black flag for the 242. There you go then. That fixes that for, I guess, Vince van der Halen. Lars Lumbers getting the black flag. So now it's 7 minutes and a bit remaining for Bran van der Wekke to get himself up to P1 and will catapult himself into the grand finals. I can't make more of it. That is how it is. .242 once again comes past start finish. We'll see his black flag or not. He'll probably claim he hasn't seen it yet. Up the inside he goes. The 296 of Bran van der Wekke up into P3 he is now. And this is quickly turning into a mega drive. By Bran van der Wekke. Peaking when you need to. Also at the front, Max Sadurski. I mean, after a disappointing qualifying heat, he is showing why he is at the front in the juniors. The 242 of Lars Lumbers up at the P6. Still has that black flag looming over him. That he has not yielded to. But Bran van der Wekke up into P2 it looks like. Yes, Bran van der Wekke up into P2. Or is that Boris Verhagen? Yes, it's Boris Verhagen in the 233. It's Bran van der Wekke behind him. The 242 still continues. Oh, up the inside, another one. Yes, there you go. Up the inside. And Lars Lumbers is back up into P5. I think multiple people around the track have talked to him about the fact he's got a black flag. But the gantries also stopped blinking about it. I think Lars, with the black flag continuing, will get a stern telling to at the end of this one. Here he is, Lars Lumbers. He will claim he hasn't seen it, and that might well be the case. But I think he's had about 4 or 5 laps now where he should have seen that his number is flickering on the gantry. Back to the leader of the race, then in the battle you see on screen Boris Verhagen and Bran van der Vekke, 2:33 and 2:96. Lars Lumbers puts in the fastest lap of the race. There you go. What an answer that is after the crash he had earlier on. Bran van der Vekke. Does he have enough with 50 points? He'll be in 276. It's too close to call for me. Oh, up the inside goes the 220. Nico van Boekel with the fastest lap of the race. That was up the inside of Lars Lumbers. Jente Mone went up the inside of Lars. Gap at the front of the race though for Max Sadurski. Up to 2.7 seconds. And the battle for second place continues between Bran van der Vekke and Boris Verhagen. Tucked in behind his steering wheel is Boris Verhagen, but it won't matter for long because Bran van der Vekke forces himself up the inside of him and gets through for P2. Nico van Boekel also up into P4 now, gained 2 places. That's a better drive than it might look like, because she dropped all the way down and has fought her way back up. Next lap will be the last lap of the race. 1.5 more laps to hang on. Down the Europa line we go. Defending the inside for Bran van der Vekke. Can he catapult himself up into a ticket position? The outside is the line of choice for Boris Verhagen, going into Cafe Corner, but he comes back at him. Boris Verhagen back up into P2. Last lap of the race. Big bump by Bran van der Vekke. And the 133 extends his gap. Well, this man, though, has had a majestic drive. It wasn't all an easy drive for him. It was made difficult in the qualifying heat by a retirement, being the first retirement, and having to start all the way down in P14 in the pre-final. But he's done that, came back to win, and he's gonna win the final as well. Max Sadurski with a distance wins the final here at Genk. Boris Verhagen finishes ahead of Bran van der Vekke. Lieke van Boekel finishes fourth ahead of Vic van Kampenhout. Jente Mone in sixth ahead of Lars Lambers, who probably won't stay there. Thinking about the fact he got that black flag. Nicolas Masson in 8th, Justin Vonk in 9th, Devrim Jetter in 10th, and Koen Willems in 11th, and Lionel Minguea in P12. Once again, these juniors have provided with mega action. All right then, let's take a look at what happened here then with Lars Lambers. Round the outside goes the 296. Closes the gap. Then has to go out wide because there's a car up his inside. Comes around. Oh. It can't be a black flag. Then something else must have happened. Because that can't be the fault of the 242. Keep our eyes open in the replay if we see anything else happen. Might not have been caught on camera though. But a black flag for the 242. Can't have been for that. One thing is for sure, and that is that the 228 after that incident, Vince van der Halen was out of the race. All right then, DD2 and DD2 Masters, second to last, final of the day. And grand final ticket holder at the moment is Laurens Herbots. But the gap only 3 points between Nicolas Guillem and Laurens Herbots. Gap for the championship, absolutely equal. Drop result though for Mika van der Pavert will be a 48-point drop and a 41-point drop for Len Nys. As it stands, so that would put the gap at 7 points in this race. In the favor of Len Nys. So let's see. Starting grid, Mika van der Pavert and Len Nys at the front row of the grid. Left-hand side of screen. As soon as they come through the tram lines will be Mika van der Pavert. Right-hand side of screen will be Len Nys as soon as they come to the tram lines. Let's get this race going at the first time of asking. The 5 red lights are on. These guys have been extremely calm and patient lately on these starts. And there we go, we're underway and racing. It's a great start on the right-hand side for Len Nys. He might well pull clear in turn 1. Yes, he does pull clear in turn 1, ahead of Mika van der Pavert. Gustav Uzakov's also a driver who was quick in the pre-final and the qualifying heat. Look out for him, that's the 189. Laurens Herbots, Nicolas Guillem, that's the fight for the final. Grand finals ticket. There, the gap is 1 point in the favor of Nicolas Guillem. So there it is, whoever finishes ahead gets the ticket. Through the last corner for the first time in this race. 12 minutes, keep that in mind. It's not like it was before with the Minimax and Minimax rookies where it's only 10 minutes just like the pre-final. These guys have got 2 minutes added to it in this final. Loads of contact, loads of argy-bargy, but that is karting for you. Turn right to go left and turn left to go right. That seems like the way Len Nys is approaching these corners. Almost a sort of zero steer. That's what you want to achieve. All right, head tucked below the steering wheel. Human DRS activated for Len Nys and Mika van der Pavert. But this race, in terms of top 3 and everything behind and in front of that, a lot closer than it was in the qualifying heats in the pre-final. A lot more contested. Len Nys and Mika van der Pavert this time round. Which is quite usual. First of all, drivers warm up during the weekend. All right then, coming through to complete lap number 4, or lap number 3, excuse me. There you go, lap number 3. All up over the curb. Here is the 428, that is William Norbach, Danish driver. Now Len Nys at the front of the field is starting to create himself a nice and handy lead over William Norbach and Mika van der Pavert, because they've been fighting. But I'm not counting William Norbach out here either. He just gained a tenth of a second in the middle sector to Len Nys. And why not? Almost halfway through this race now. Gap for Len Nys at the front of the field, 6/10. It's ever coming down. William Norbach. Up the inside goes the 4.86 of Mika van der Pavert. But not successful this time round. Mika van der Pavert is dropping down. What has happened to the pace of Mika van der Pavert? He's leading the group for P5 now. There's quite a bit of a gap towards Niklas Goelem, Lawrence Herbots, and William Norbach, who set in purple sectors in this race. And keeps getting closer to Len Nys. Here we go then, another fastest lap of the race, this time for Niklas Goelem. 54.076. Then we look at the battle for the grand finals ticket. That is Lawrence Herbots and Niklas Goelem. And once again, those two find each other on track, and there's mere hundreds between them. Lawrence Herbots at the moment has the advantage. If it stays that way, he will go to the grand finals. And Niklas Goelem in P4 will be disappointed, but can definitely look back at a strong season for him. Here he comes then. This is the battle for that grand finals ticket that we're looking at. The gap at the front though for the lead and possibly the win in this race is also only 0.2 of a second between Len Nys and William Norbach. What a feat that would be. All the way from Denmark comes the Genk and wins at Len Nys' home turf. Fastest lap of the race for Niklas Goelem still. Last time round though, Mika van der Pavert got close, 54.1. But Mika van der Pavert has about 1.8 seconds to close up before he can even get to Niklas Goelem and start thinking about a move. He's just way too far back as it stands. The battle is between these two. 3 minutes to go. William Norbach is saying to Len Nys, just keep driving, mate. There's no point of fighting here yet. Visibly getting agitated with Len Nys. They're losing time, obviously. And he can't keep doing this. Yeah, once again, Len Nys defending. And at some point, William is going to have to make a decision here. Of, okay, it's not worth working together with someone who's defending every corner anyways. And might just have to go for the move soon. Looking for a better exit. Here he comes. William Norbach onto the straight. Pulls to the inside. Will stay behind, but look, the two behind have closed up as well. Once again, he tries to go for the inside. Can't quite make the move stick. He's all over the rear bumper of him. Needs to watch out that he doesn't get a front fairing here. Could well drop at least 3-4 positions with that. Looking to the outside once again, but leaving himself exposed to the 198 of Laurens Herbots, who now puts a card in between himself and Nicolas Coulem. This is for a grand finals ticket. And this battle has come at the exact right moment for Len Nys as well. William Norbach maybe making the wrong decision. But he looked like he had the pace to win this race. And now here comes the move from Nicolas Coulem as well. A desperate move. He's saying, let's try and work together now and drive back to these two. This is also not over for Laurens Herbots yet. He's 4/10s back with 3 more laps to go. He could well pressure Len Nys as well. But William Norbach, from challenging for victory to off the podium, what a feat that would be. Two laps to go. Len Nys choosing the exit of turn 1 as a more important thing than the entry. Different lines from Len Nys and Laurens Herbots. Laurens Herbots trying to show himself. Trying to make Len Nys think. But this has been and will for the remainder of this race be Len Nys's to lose as he starts what soon will be the final lap of the race, coming out of the final corner. Last lap board is out. Len Nys will see it. He'll look behind one more time. And he'll see Laurens Herbots there. Nicolas Coulem can't get close enough. Will he try something audacious? Will he lick the stamp and send it on Nicolas Coulem? At the end of the day, whoever finishes ahead here will get the grand finals ticket. Nicolas Coulem at the moment does not have it. Laurens does. Into Cafe Corner. One last look behind from Laurens Coulem. Or Laurens Herbots, excuse me. Coming through the final corner though is Len Nys. And he won't only win this race, he will also win the DD2 championship with that victory. Behind him though, Laurens Herbots takes the last grand final ticket in DD2. Smart drive by both of them. And William Norbach will feel hard done by to only be P4. Lawrence Herbots will go to the grand finals. Len Nys has put himself to the top of the championship. Mika van der Pavert, only 5th after dominating the qualifying heat in the pre-final, falls short of it in the final. Here is the result then. Len Nys, Lawrence Herbots, Nicolas Guillem, William Norbach, Mika van der Pavert, Nicolas Klaas, Jordi Claerbout. Then in P8 it is Ralf van der Pavert, Guyan de Brandt and Wout Kershens. That's your top 10. Wout Kershens though not making it to the checkered flag. What a drive. Len Nys will be champion in the DD2s. Lawrence Herbots will get the grand final ticket.
Van Belgisch kampioen daar.
Alright then, last but not least at all are these seniors. And in the seniors it's contested. Devian Roest is at the top of the championship, but with a 7-point drop towards Matej Radenkovic. The championship is also still on there, 5 points between the two, including the drop rounds. And those two will start at the front. If Devian Roest finishes behind Matej Radenkovic, in P2, Devian Roest will be champion. If Devian Roest finishes third and then Matej Radenkovic wins, then Matej Radenkovic will be champion on countback because he has more race wins. But for that, Matej Radenkovic has to win this race. Otherwise, they will be equal on race wins. We'll come back to more second places, and that will be Devian Roest. Take a look at the starting grid for this race then. Matej Radenkovic will start on pole position ahead of Devian Roest, also on the first row. Second row of the grid, Robbie Stoder and Boaz Maximov. Third row of the grid, Matthias Killerup and Ryan Bourguignon. Fourth row of the grid, Olivier Jonkers and Miel Hendricks. Fifth row of the grid, Sverre Uben and Cas Boshuis. Sixth row of the grid is Flynn Fittus and Dante Sima. Seventh row of the grid is Sam Bergstein and Mick van den Hout. Eighth row of the grid is Matthias Schanz and Matisse Lismond. Ninth row of the grid is Rijn van der Meer and Nathan Marichal. 10th row of the grid is Tristan Scheijs and Lex Quintens. Here we go then. We've only had one aborted start today. Let's keep it that way. They have not had an aborted start. And let's hope this one won't be one either. No, they go out at the first time of asking. Right hand side of screen, Davian Roest will try to hang it round the outside. But he can't. He loses two, maybe even 3 positions. The outside there for the 336. Can't quite get there. Oliver Jonker. But the 399 of Matera Denkovic has kept P1. Davian Roest will look to come back from that. Only finds himself in P4, no man overboard here. He will just be looking to catch back up to those in front of him. The 317 and the 355. Robbie Stuurdonk and Boaz Maximov. No, Boaz Maximov is the 335. Matthias Kjellerup is the 355. He finds himself in P3. As there you go. There's that battle that Davian Roest was hoping for. Look what that has done. Has made him close up to that battle right away. Oh, up the inside. It's getting feisty already. Davian Roest back up to the inside there. Back up to P3. And that is not enough. As I said earlier, as I mentioned, this scenario would give Matera Denkovic the championship too, plus the grand final ticket. Oh, bit of contact there up the inside. That's a late move. Davian Roest back up into P2. Here he comes then. Warning flag for the 399. And that is the driver right ahead of Davian Roest now. Has played all of his cards already, Matera Denkovic. Davian Roest will have the upper hand by being behind him. He also looked comfortably able to follow earlier on in the race. And as soon as the 2 drivers behind him will start fighting, they'll do exactly the same. They're already creating themselves a nice and handy gap. Longest 12 minutes ever for Davian Roest. Matera Denkovic has been overtaken now. He knows what's at stake here as well. He goes up the inside. That's a late move going into turn 6. Makes it stick though, and here comes the 355. Also up the inside of Davian Roest. Questionable late move there from Matera Denkovic, but he went for it and absolutely sent it up the inside. Up the inside goes Davian Roest once again of Matthias Kjellerup. Adjusting the radiator once again. That flap closes for Matera Denkovic the moment he brakes. That might be one of the reasons he might be adjusting that every straight. So Matthias Kjellerup has dropped down quite a bit now. He's dropped down to P5, I think. Davian Roest with cards in hand. He he stays where he is at the moment, it will be enough. But will he? That's the question that Matej Radenkovic will also be asking himself. And the answer to that question, I can tell you, is a stern no. The moment we are talking about it, Dejan Roost up the insides of Matej Radenkovic. Fastest lap of the race. This time for Ryan Bourguignon. 55.133. We have seen faster in the pre-qualifying earlier. Or in the pre-qualifying. In the pre-final, excuse me. Complete different format, that. Dejan Roost now dictating the pace at the front. Oh, contact between Dejan Roost and the 317. That's Robbie Storder. Mind you, Robbie Storder also still fighting for a ticket. And that has now forced them to lose some time battling with each other. Crucial that Dejan Roost stayed ahead there. With Matej Radenkovic back up into P1. Tiny mistake there from Dejan Roost, not something you often see. But showing that he is human. And mistakes are quickly made here, also under pressure. Matej Radenkovic still keeping Dejan Roost at bay. Here comes the 317 of Robbie Storder again. And as we've seen from earlier, those are not necessarily the best of friends. Different line going into the final corner, bringing him a little closer to Matej Radenkovic again. 3 and a bit more minutes to go before we'll know who's champion, who'll get the grand finals ticket, and who will win the event. 2 and a bit minutes to go. Matej Radenkovic still ahead of Dejan Roest. And still Robbie Storder behind him. Boaz Maximov right behind Storder. And then Ryan Bourguignon in 5th. Matthias Kjelderup down to 6th. Looked quite quick in the early stages of this race. Down the Europa line we go. Let's see how close it is. If we'll make it 2 or 3 more laps after this. Here comes Matej Radenkovic. I have a feeling. Ooh, it's tight. I can't say it. Might be 2 or might be 3 more. But I have a feeling it will be 2. Dejan Roest back up the insides of Matej Radenkovic. He knows what's up. And he's made it stick. He'll say, okay, I'll take charge. I'll decide my own fate here today. But nothing's over until you cross that black and white checkered. Up the inside, that's a late send from Matej Radenkovic. Dejan Roest knows it, there's contact! Big crash! Matej Radenkovic is off! They're both off, that's a big incident, and Dejan Roest will see the last lap board out. Both drivers are out of their car, but Matej Radenkovic limping. It was a big send from Matej Radenkovic. Robbie Storder put his cart alongside his in the following corner. And well, that turned out to be a crucial decision. But here he is then, rounding off the final corner with that iconic orange helmet in the 345. Dejan Roest is champion in 2025 in the Max Seniors. He didn't get that in the way he wanted it. But oh boy, did he have to fight for that. It's of course not how he wants things to end. But at the end of the day, he is champion. And that's all that counts. Here's the result then. Dejan Roest ahead of Boaz Maximov. Then Ryan Bourguignon, Matthias Kjelderup in 4th. Mil Hendricks in 5th. 6th Olivier Jonkers. 7th Sverre Uben. 8th Lex Quintens. 9th Dante Sima. 10th is Mathis Lismont, Ryan van der Meer in P11, Matthias Schantz in P12, Jamie Delissen in P13, Sam Bergstein in 14th, Mick van den Hout in 15th, Flynn Vitters in 16th, Tristan Shies in 17th, Nathan Marichal in P18, Henry Verlo in P19, Reimer van de Beek in P20. Drivers not able to finish this race. Matej Radenkovic is one of them. Hopefully he is okay. Big incident between him and Robbie Storder. Gus Boshuis in P23. And Filip Wisniewski and Louis Le Regulier also not able to finish this race. Well then, this race was full of big moments. Biggest grid of the day, and boy did it deliver. Oh, that was a cent and a half. That's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, a professional block pass. And that caused a massive checkup. Radenkovic got back to the lead. Then Dejan Rust took it back. He said, I'll take fate into my own hands. That didn't quite work out the way he wanted it so early on. Back up to the inside. But Matej Radenkovic stayed ahead. Then there was that battle between the 355 and the 335. I'm just waiting to see. That moment between Matej Radenkovic and Robbie Storder. Both drivers look to be okay. There you go. What a moment that is. All over Matej Radenkovic. And Dejan Rust taking the win home and taking the championship in 2025. Well, that was an amazing weekend here at Genk, an amazing Sunday race day. Well, we've crowned 4 new champions, given out 4 grand final tickets. All in all, I would call that a pretty fantastic day. Thank you very much to all of you at home and the crew here on site at Karting Genk, at the home of champions. Thank you all very much for making this possible. Thank you at home for watching, and we'll see you back in 2026. Goodbye for now.